You guys seen Grayson Waller? Huh? You got that Dusty Cup later? Kick ass, man.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! Hate you. Fuck you, PrizePicks!
Well, I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! All again, man, I hate enough. Fuck you, PrizePicks! My whole clique about to fuck you up. Fuck you, PrizePicks! Population, we are not the same. Fuck you, PrizePicks! Get to win and take everything. Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this spread. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage said if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Carpooling to the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Betty got the hope, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season, so much free you won't believe. Join in Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all their money. Ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, PrizePicks.
Hate you.
Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Hate you.
Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Hate you.
Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Well, I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Bob and Johnny, that's your motto. Fuck you, PrizePicks. And if you really wanna win, fuck you, PrizePicks. Come and rock with population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
And here we go.
Welcome to the Balking Dead, fellas, where it's Mondays and we're beyond hot right now. We're seeing the board as well can be. 16-7 this month with only one losing day, and that was Juice. And does it mean anything? Sure as hell not, guys, because on this show, we're 0-0 today, and that's all that matters. We've got 6 pitchers to talk about with a whole lot of games going on today, as these books must want some money back, and we need to talk about them as well today. It's Monday. You know what that means. We got a little bit of hit and run with our boy LJ from H-Town. So enough of the small talk. Let's get to it. This show is sponsored by WA, clean energy powder with no come down to your day. And by going on over there to W, guys, you can use promo code PUBSPORTS, and it's going to get you 10% off of your first order on a freaking beautiful no come down to your day energy powder, brought to you by the boys who just keeps putting money in your damn pocket. So let's keep this train rolling, guys. On this show, we will talk the first line opened up on a K-prop, also the best line available 30 minutes prior to the show. Then we will see where the value lies between the books and PrizePicks. Of course, this show is sponsored by PrizePicks as well. If you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PUBSPORTS. Get a match deposit on your first deposit, up to 100, minimum of 25. Do me a favor, if you like what you're hearing, smash that like button, as well as hashtag WeBePubbing in your best bets or any questions you'd like me to answer, and I will go through them at the end of the show. Today, guys, we start the day off with some titties in our face. And it's not the type that we see at Hooters. It's the titty capper play of the day, guys, where 90% of the cappers out there are saying it's free money, including your favorite titty capper. Not saying they don't win, but the books are winning at least 70% of the time in these spots. And I'm talking about Tyler Glasnow at the Twins, number 4 in the black book, striking people out at a 33.5% clip this year, while walking people 7% of the time. Open them up 8+ -125, and by morning 8+ -150, and that is the best price that you can find them now to that 7.5, and that is on BetMGM. PrizePicks has them at a flat 8, whereas earn runs under/over are a 1.5. Projected lineup for your Twins are 5 lefties, 4 righties. Now we get Glasnow at the Twins. And when we look at the Twins' numbers over the last 15 days, they are walking best in the league, hitting the ball with a nice isolated power of 190, yet striking out 23% of the time. As well as we know the whip and chase that does come in this lineup. And we get a prop that opened up at a 7.5 at a very bettable juice, and you can still get -150 at a lot of the books out there. Yet, a team last week that he played with near the same identical overall numbers, yet doesn't chase and doesn't whip in the Red Sox. Glasnow was put at an 8.5 last week, and like I said, I don't know how he's going to hit this out. Everything screams under. He went out there and shattered it and had himself 14 strikeouts. So is it because he's on the road? Is that why they dropped it? Nah. Well, He's had 2 of his last 3 games on the road, guys. Put it in 8.5 to open with juice. As those teams were striking out, as well as also one of those teams was coming into it with a whiff and chase that the Twins also carry into it. So the books have open arms to a one-way traffic on one of the most elite strikeout pitchers in the game. And you already know, Sharpie, don't play that, guys, as you have to either go, the rule is you have to go under or just let it go, guys. And I'm okay just not putting my money on a Glasnow under. Yet I said the same thing with Strider last week when he fell under the same category of some titties. And yeah, we all know he didn't come close. So be safe today, guys, if you are looking at Glasnow. The books are telling me this guy is going to end on a dead 7, where they're begging you to bet the over on Glasnow. They're also begging you to bet the under on Woodruff. So we've got double titties, but we'll get to Woodruff when we get to Woodruff. But that's in a minute. I just have a weird feeling on this one, guys, today that he either lands on 7 or it's one hell of a sweat getting 8, as the books are telling me that. They're begging you to bet the over. You may have already bet the over, as it just seems like free money, right? Nah. We all know that. We all know the end of that story. Let's get into the next guy on the board. Pitcher in the black book is 20. Black Jesus, Jesus Luzardo at the Brewers, striking people out 28% of the time while walking people 7% of the time. Open them up 5.5, minus 125 on DK, where you can get that 5.5 on FanDuel at a minus 113. PrizePicks has him at a 5.5, as well as, I forgot to pull up Woodruff. Wanted to make sure his line didn't change. Okay. As well as hits allowed under over are a 4.5. Projected lineup is 6 righties and 3 lefties. Now we get Jesus Luzardo at the Brewers, guys, with all types of red flags going on. So let's just talk these Brewers numbers over the last 200 plate appearances versus lefties, as they are walking top 5, not striking out just 16.5% of the time, while also not hitting the ball with a team isolated power of a $150. As I do get the red flag part about the strikeouts, as them dropping his strikeouts down to a bettable 5.5, as the Brewers have been the second hardest team to strike out in that time span of numbers, and that's normally how the books will treat that. Yet I do not get them dropping his outs to a 15.5, as he has hit that, guys, in 7 of his last 10 games, and they've only dropped it 2 times in the last 10 games to the under 17.5. Versus teams who were crushing lefties at the time in the Dodgers and Padres. Yet put him at a 17.5 a few weeks back versus the Astros. So the books are telling me right here, Luzardo doesn't go more than 5.2 innings of work today. And when we look at his win percentage to the 5.5, when he only goes 5.1 innings of work or less this year, we've got action, guys, as he's 7-4 to the over when he doesn't go 5.2 innings in a game. So do we want to fuck around and find out? That is the question, guys, as they are projecting 3 lefties in this lineup, as Luzardo dominates the left-handed side, guys, with a beyond elite 34.5% strikeout percentage versus lefties, compared to an elite 26.5% from the right-handed side. As he has only seen a handful of these batters in this lineup with just 20 plate appearances, yet does have a 27% career K percentage versus them. So all in all, guys, I'm going to need lineups and go one by one to see how many of these guys are striking out, as well as how many are walking, because it may be walking to be the death of him today, as this team is walking top 5 as well as not striking out. Now, I want to see if it's just 2 or 3 guys pulling down that whole percentage, or was it like Senga versus the Twins the other day when I looked at Senga and said, oh, Senga gonna have an issue. We got 8 out of these 9 guys walking above 10%. Nah. And did I bet the under on Senga? No, I should have, but it would have been an easy casher. But it did keep me off the over in a spot that seemed like it should be easy over. But we've got to pay attention to walk percentages, guys, when betting a K prop, as that can be the death of him. So one by one through the lineup, I will actually be looking at a Jesus Luzardo over in a hold my beer spot where, they're not striking out, but I'd like to say, maybe they do today. So give me 3 lefties and let's see if I can work my magic, as I will tweet out my action if I do put in a play on Luzardo. The only reasoning why I wouldn't be is I am afraid of the outs prop at the moment. They did drop his outs, but like I said, he still hit his over 7 out of 11 times, which is a very good win percentage. So to me, the lean is over on Luzardo, where the bet is just not placed yet, but I will be looking at that when the lineups come out. Now we get to the last pitcher before we get into the hitting prop segment of the day. And this is where it's the second part of the titty capper, guys. We already know, guys, there's 2 titties, right? Yeah. So today it just happens to be, there's a lot of trap lines going on. They're adding on to people. They're playing tricks. And the titty capper play of the day just used to be the trap. I just used to call this traps at the last year. That's what the word. But who likes the word traps and who likes the word yitties? I'd rather say yitties. So at the end of the day, Brandon Woodruff versus the Marlins is striking people out in his career 29% of the time, while walking people 6.5% of the time. I say career because he just doesn't have enough this year for me to take in. Morning line was 7.5 minus 105 on DraftKings, where it's still 7.5, but you can get plus 110. As of course, nothing but under money has been coming in. PrizePicks has him at a 7, whereas hits allowed under over are at a 4.5. Projected lineup is 6 lefties and 3 righties. Well, guys, not every pair of titties are freaking perfect. Sometimes they're lopsided. Today, we've got one that's a little heavy and one that's a little light. And this is the one, guys, that they're begging you to bet the under on here. Now, let's talk about it. Now we have a spot, guys, where unlike most spots today where they added on to them or dropped them due to the K percentage, they didn't do a damn thing with Woodruff versus the Marlins. And what do you mean by that, Sharpie? What does that tell you? Well, yeah, when we look at these numbers over the last 15 days, it sure as fuck says drop their K-prop kind of, guys, as they dropped it for Nola the other day to a 5.5. As, yes, I get it, they're not walking, but they are smashing the ball with a team isolated power of 200 and bottom 3 and not striking out. Yet we get it opened up with a 7.5 in the juice, which tells me, guys, he's getting 8 or more today. And the reasonings behind this, guys, if he hits this, there's 6 lefties in this projected lineup. Woodruff has an elite career 30.5% strikeout rate versus lefties, with a solid 27.5 versus the right-handed side, as well as Woodruff being at home, whereas K percentage is an elite 31.5% throughout his career compared to 27.5 on the road. So if he hits it, I get it. There's no freaking magic in here. They're loading up lefties and Woodruff is at home, as well as this team not walking. When Woodruff runs into trouble, he walks himself into trouble. And if they're going to chase those pitches, they're going to be in for a long type of day for a team that normally makes contact when they chase. So the numbers say bet it under. The books are begging you to bet it under. And 6 lefties and Woodruff at home says he goes over. So careful if you're looking out there just strictly at the K percentage. And the books are wanting you to bet this man's under today. Now, does that make me go bet his over? No, I'm content watching it right now. I don't need to bet it just because what the books are telling me. The books are wrong 30% of the time. And if we go through September, I've only been wrong 28% of the time. So I don't play trends. I play my spots. And if I can't figure it out, I figure out why he does hit it. I already told you, it's 6 lefties and he's at home. That doesn't mean I'm comfortable betting it. Everything in my gut tells me there's no way in fucking hell this guy should have freaking 6 strikeouts today. But 7.5, here we come. Hold my beer, and Woodruff, like Glasnow last week, probably ends on a freaking 10 to 15 pack. So if you're looking for a random weird spot to ladder today, it might be Woodruff, guys, as the books are begging you to bet his under. Now we get to the part of the show where we get to talk hitting props. And on Monday, we do a little hit and run. And I ain't talking about a 211, fellas. I ain't talking about no type of robbery. Only type of money we taking are from the books. And it's hit and run with LJ.
And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better. See, I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy.
Yeah, covered all in here with the glasses on, and it's not because the lights, fellas. It's because LJ is at home on a Monday, and that means LJ's tired. LJ spent a lot of time betting and stressing football, and he said, "You know what, boss man? I got to make more money betting baseball. I'm gonna be useless at work. I'm coming on the show today. What's up, LJ? How you doing? What's good?"
Hey man, doing great, Sharpie. You're right. I did tell the boss I had to take a sick day today because I'm sick and tired of not making money when I'm joining my gang on Balking the Dead. So man, let's get this money, guy.
Yes, sir. I'm sure you may have already sent it to me, but I actually had breakfast this morning with a BBW, and I may have not have did all the work I should have did. So I
Yeah.
did my work. I'm gonna let you freestyle, and I'll chip in after you talk about each player and give you my 2 cents.
All right. Well, first of all, man, we're gonna start off with hot batters right now that I see has already cashed in the first game. Ronald Acuna Jr. and Trey Turner, man. Both of these guys that I was gonna say take their over 1.5 bases tonight. I see they already cashed it in the first game. I wouldn't be surprised if they cashed it in the second game as well. Acuna, 17, 1+ hit, 17 on his last 22 on the road now, averaging 2.5 bases in the division, which they're playing the Phillies, and 2.5 on the road, man. So he's already hit a home run. You might as well take it again tonight. I got it at -120. And for his Trey Turner, you could take his over 1.5 bases as well. 1+ hit, 29 out of his last 32 games. And he's had 1 hit, 17 out of his last 20 now at home versus the National League. So he's already run today. So these guys should pretty much cash their 2+ bases again tonight in the doubleheader.
What did you get Trey Turner at?
-120.
Both at -120?
Yeah.
Sweet. Another thing to add in on there, I believe Trey Turner has 19 hits at home, 19 straight home games too. The dude's on fire in Philadelphia. Little story, if you didn't know, Philadelphia is known for being real ruthless, and everybody talks trash about how ruthless they are. Trey Turner was in the biggest slump of his career. And instead of booing this man, they showed up and cheered him with signs. 40,000 deep cheered this guy through his slump, cheered him through his ground ball outs. They cheered his ass walking back to the dugout, and they cheered him through it. And now he's producing, and he's back to the guy he is. Philadelphia is hard when they need to, but they do got big hearts. So let's get to the next game.
Oh, man, we're going to go down to my neck with Sharpie. We got Oakland coming down to Houston. Taking on these Astros, guy.
Let's talk this shit, baby. We're taking Astros.
You already know who I'm. Oh, of course. And you already know who I'm jumping on. I'm jumping on Alvarez. Some of y'all call him your daddy. On Alvarez, my guy. I'm going to take his 1+ hit, run, and RBI, and I got it at even money, +100. He hit this number, the 3. Yeah, even money. He's hit this number 3 home games that Oakland played them in the series back in May. And he's also hit this number in 5 straight games in a row. So 1+ hit, run, RBI for Mr. Alvarez at +100. Even money, guys.
RB doesn't have a lot of action today, bro. I'm betting that. Thank you very much. You know, I don't look to go bet hitting props, but if a guy makes freaking sense when he talks, you're gonna hear. We ain't breaking down Mason Miller, guys, but if you were on the NFL live stream on Pub Sports last night, I gave out Mason Miller under 4.5 strikeouts at -154 as a full unit play. As I said, it won't be there, guys, in the morning. This shit's a laughable joke. I don't give a fuck if you throw 100 miles per hour. This is not the team you want to throw 100 miles per hour to, let alone on a pitch count. So, Waldecock and the fastball thrower to start, dude. My God, bro, this may be the time to ride that Astros team total as well as I think they get to Miller, as well as we got the cut coming in, which we know what they do to lefties, bro. So if they don't get to Miller, we live bet the fucking Astros team total over when Waldecock comes in. So yeah, bro, I'm looking to fade the A's today, but I will not pay -300. Nah. Let's get into the next spot.
Last spot we got, man. We're going back to the same division. We got the Angels going to take on Seattle, and everybody should know who I'm jumping on. My guy, Julio Rodriguez, the hottest bat on the team. I'm going to take his 1+ hit, run, RBI at even money as well, +100, because he's hit this number 7 out of the last 10 games at home, and he's 8-2 to the over 1.5 bases last 10 games at home. So I'm going to take the over 1.5 bases plus 106 as well, because I believe he hit a home run and cover both of those bets on one bet, ladies and gentlemen.
All in the shot right there. And yeah, well, I'll be talking about both those pitchers in that game right there, because they've jacked up both of those guys on their K props.
Yeah.
And Reid Detmers shit the fucking bed versus this team last time when they weren't hitting lefties, and now they're hitting lefties. So, oh Lord, what happens to old Reid today, bro? So, yeah. If you're just tuning in, guys, for the recap, guys, smash that like button, as it does help people find about the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. And this is the recap of Hit and Run with LJ. He's going to start his day off in the doubleheader. He's going to take one from each dugout, and he's going to take one that he was both on in the first game and probably the day before, as long as it matches up underneath the home or away or whatever he plays it. But today, you need to get in on Ronald Acuna Jr. over 1.5 bases, as well as Trey Turner on the other side at 1.5, both at -120. And then what I think is the sucker bet type bet of the day, these books are going to get popped in the mouth with, because I'm going to pop them in the mouth with it. Yordan Alvarez for 1 hit or RBI at even money? Like, either or, bro, a sac fly or a fucking double or a home. What does he do? You're telling me Yordan strikes out 3 times today, bro?
Yeah,
Suck
right.
my yoppers, bro. I will bet that one right there, bro. I'm in. And then he's going to end his day, guys, with Julio Rodriguez versus a lefty at home. He's going to take his 1 hit plus or RBI at even money, which doesn't make sense for a team who's crushing lefties, as well as he's going to take his over 1.5 bases at plus 106. Now, they've been sharp on these pitching props today. Seems like they're slacking on the hitting market. So we going to have to take advantage of these guys and pop them in the mouth when they need to be popped in, and not chase, like we're going to talk about a lot of these spots that they want us to chase in today. Appreciate you, my bro, for showing up, bringing us the goods, and getting me on Yordan for sure. Tell them where they can find you, what you got going on, and will you be on the stream tonight?
Oh, man, of course. You already know I'm going to be on the stream, but they can follow me on Twitter at LJ Sports Media, and follow me right here on Pub Sports Radio, man. We will be live tonight with Jimmy the Bad. We're on the Jets live stream tonight, and we'll be watching our bets that we're making today cash simultaneously, because every time we on stream, Sharpie, everybody knows we make money. So tune in if y'all looking to cash tonight, people, for sure.
And I don't really care what you think of me, respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better. See, I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy.
We've already talked about our first 3 pitchers of the day, as well as just finished up with our hitting prop segment, Hit and Run with LJ. Now we are going to talk about the last 3 pitchers on the board. So smash the like button if you like what you're hearing, as well as hashtag we be pubbing in your best bets, whether it be NFL, MLB, or shit, tennis, for all I care. If it makes money, we can make money as well. Next guy on the board, guys, is Framber Valdez versus the A's. Number 13 in the black book is striking people out this year 24% of the time, while walking people 6.5% of the time. Open him up 7+ -130 on FanDuel, and that is exactly where he's still at. PrizePicks has him at a 6.5 as well, whereas hits allowed under over are at a 4.5. Projected lineup is 8 righties and a lefty. Now we get Fram Diesel versus the A's for now what is the 4th time this year, after a back-to-back in May when the numbers said no both times. As we were on him in his first game, he cashed the over 6.5 on the very last batter of a no-hit game. No, of a 4-hit game. He gave up 4 hits that day, went 9 innings, and cashed the over 6.5 on the last pitch of the freaking game. And then I went with it back on my rule, as he didn't have a career day, so I could run him again. But that time it didn't work out, as he only had himself 4 strikeouts in 5 innings, while giving up 4 earned runs on that back-to-back. Then, guys, he faced him again. Back in July, when the K percentage said fire, yet they were hitting, and they popped him. So, now we get into these A's numbers. And over their last 200 plate appearances, they're not walking. They're hitting the ball with the isolated power of 185 and striking out 25% of the time. Almost identical numbers to the last time he faced them when he went out there and got his head kicked in. Now, this is a type of spot, guys, where you got to bring your work boots to work and your hard hat, or else they're going to send your ass home and you're not going to cash. So the books know this as well, and they jumped them up to a 6.5. As in, this guy has only hit the over 6.5 two of his last 10 games and in 11 of his 27 games this year. And I get it, guys. The books don't want one-way traffic on this bet where they can get cracked. So they jump them up one, and they'll put some juice. And at the end of the day, they have their action at winning, as they jumped up 3 people today and made you pay juice for a couple of them, as well as anything goes wrong on these bigger type of numbers, the books now are going to cash, because sometimes you need to go over 6 innings when you need to hit that. Now, I do believe Framber Valdez should have 7 strikeouts versus these type of numbers in 6 innings of work. But also the books do believe that as well. So they're going to make you pay up. They're going to make you pay juice for a prop that should be 5.5. And I'm not going to do that. At the end of the day, I don't chase. The books made this one very easy for me by jumping them up. And I get why they jumped them up. I don't freaking care. I'm not here to chase. I'm here to bet people's averages and when they go through them. Now, they like to fuck with a lot of people. And that's when you just got to just and understand what the books are doing. So if you are getting involved on Valdez today, it is over or nothing. But no, the books added one on because they had to, because they did not want one-way action, as they knew they were only going to get one-way action even on the 6.5. Now, like I said about Mason Miller, if you did tune into the NFL Pub Sports Radio live bet stream last night, I pop on every NFL primetime at halftime and give out a halftime bet. Last year, we hit 80%. This year, 2-0 on our halftime primetime bets, as we're looking to go 3-0 today. But I also gave out last night on that stream a full unit bet on the under 4.5 of Mason Miller in this game, the other side of Framber Valdez. It was a minus 154 type bet, but I was willing to pay the juice as I knew this line was wrong. And I said it will be a 3.5 by the morning, and I woke up and it was a 3.5. And they're like, Sharpie, what if we didn't get the 4.5? No, I'm not. No, 3.5. He probably doesn't get it, but I'm not here to bet probablys. He's going to have to strike out 5 batters in 12. He's projected to see 4 batters per inning, 16 pitches an inning on a pitch count of no more than 50. You've got to strike out 5 of your 12 batters versus an Astros team that don't strike out. Nah. You've got to see Maldonado at least twice to get 5, in my opinion. So, yeah, they jumped up Valdez, and I just don't chase. Now, let's talk about another guy in a matchup where the books are like, if you want, you gonna pay. And we're talking about Reid Detmers at the Mariners, striking people out 26% of the time, while walking people 9.5% of the time. Morning line was 6 plus minus 110 on DraftKings, where the best line available is still the same, but now on Caesars. PrizePicks has them at a 5.5, whereas pitching outs under over are at a 15.5. Projected lineup is 7 righties and 2 lefties. Today's episode, guys, it seems is the books trying to get some of their money back that we took from them all weekend, as they've added to most of the guys today, except for what seems like the titty capper plays of the board, which is Glasnow, which is somehow he's not hitting 8 today. They want you to bet the over on Glasnow, and then they want you to bet the under on Woodruff. Now we're talking about Reid Detmers at the Mariners, guys, for the second time. When back on August 4th, Detmers shit the bed in what was a great spot by the numbers, as he went 4 innings, gave up 7 earned runs, and struck out 4. And now when we look at the Mariners' numbers versus lefties over the last 200 plate appearances, they are walking a little bit above league average, smashing the ball with a team-isolated power at 200, yet striking out 27% of the time. As the books see the K percentage and do what they've been doing today, and they put Reid Detmers at a 5.5. When once again, if we look at his win percentage to the under over 5.5 in his last 10 games, it's just 20%, and he hasn't hit it in 8 straight games. And in those 8 games of not hitting it, he's faced 2 lineups that were striking out 26% of the time or worse. So he's had the opportunities, yet haven't. And no way in hell would I chase, guys, let alone chase this man. As the Mariners are only projecting 2 lefties, if I can just get any more than 2, I will look to take him under in this spot. As, yeah, they're striking out, but this man just can't strike out lefties. He's one of the rare breed lefties who just can't strike out his own side of the plate. It's disgusting, but it's great for unders, guys, as he has a disgusting 16.5 strikeout percentage versus the left-handed side. Yeah. Trash, okay? 28% though versus the right-handed side, which is elite. So they are projecting 2 lefties. We've got a team pounding the ball. I still may go under on him once the lineups go out, guys, as long as I have the majority of this team hitting, and it's only a few of these guys that are striking out. They bumped him up, guys, because they think no one will bet him under. And you give me enough lefties, and that's the only way I will bet him, because I can't go over if you jump him up. Now, I will fucking come right underneath you sneaky sons of bitches and pop you in the mouth if I need to. Now we're going to end the day with the other side of this pitching matchup. Logan Gilbert versus the Angels. Number 23 in the black book is striking people out 25.5% of the time, while walking people only 4.5% of the time on the year. Open them up on Caesars to the 7.5 at -111, where the best line available is -105 at BetMGM. PrizePicks has them at a 7.5, whereas earned runs on PrizePicks are under over 1.5. Projected lineup is 5 righties and 4 lefties. We end the day, guys, talking a little recency bias, and it happens to go both ways in this spot. And we're talking Logan Gilbert versus the Angels, as the Angels over the whole year have been very pick-onable. But, man, over the last week, it's sure gotten a whole lot better with Ohtani going through his issues and then letting go anyone who could be taken off the waiver wire. As we got a whole lot of whiff and chase in this lineup, guys. And, yeah. When I did the lineups over the weekends and played Giolito, we had 8 of the 9 guys who were 1.5% worse than league average when it came to whipping and not making contact when they chased. This team has just been ass in the books, and everybody's seeing that. Recency bias number 1. Then we get into what recency bias number 2 is, guys, and that's Logan Gilbert over the last 3 weeks. He's looked almost Strider-ish when it comes to striking people out, as he's had 9, 9, and a 7 versus a Royals team that's actually been tough to strike out. As he's only hit this over 7.5 3 of his last 10 games. So him being a stud the last few starts, the Angels being bums all year and gutter sluts over the last week, they put Gilbert at a 7.5. And it's another one of these spots that the books got to add, as they only are going to get one-way traffic. And I just think there's a whole lot of recency bias baked into this one. Now, I think this would be the one that may not hit, as I tend to understand these lines with this recency bias, and they take that in and use it against the public. Very much so, guys. So this is the one, if you're that they did chase, I'm going to tell you to stay off of. Where I do see Valdez hitting, because they added on, I can definitely see Valdez hitting his over today. I just have a rule on my own. And Reid Detmers does have the K percentage where if he goes over his outs, that he definitely hits his 6. So it would be ballsy to go under that under. Now, the Logan Gilbert one, this would be the one that I'm going to tell you to be very careful with going over. There's just too much recency bias baked into this both ways that sometimes you just got to let it be. And I'm okay with letting Logan Gilbert be, as to me, guys, it's either under or nothing with all the recency bias baked in. He's going to have to strike out a whole lot of batters. Not saying people ain't been doing that, but it seems like these Seattle Mariner pitchers are vaginas other than La Pareda, as after what I seen on George Kirby the other day in social media, George Kirby's now out my book, and I'll never bet on him again. And I made money with George Kirby the other day. Done. The guy bitched about coming out after the 6th inning, and he got hit. But I don't understand why they sent me back out. What, bro? You don't want the ball? Well, oh, bro, you got pink, dog. You got a Pinoch, dog. Man, I thought you had brass balls, bro. So, you want studs? I've seen them pull this guy at 77 pitches before. I've seen them pull him at 80 and 6. So, be very careful with Gilbert over today, guys. Too much recency bias baked in. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in to the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. If you haven't smashed the like, smash the like button, as we got our boy Justin giving out his best bet in football with Garrett Wilson over 69.5 receiving yards. As I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. But I'm going to go into that game with the same type of thing I've been going in on, and that's just kick back and watch and make money at the half. Rocco's talking about Jordan over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI at -145. And Julio over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs at -155. Well, looks like LJ got a better number than all of y'all, because I guarantee you he ain't coming up here with a bet that he didn't get.
He's 225, bro, Sharpie.
Yeah, he's got an offshore, though, bro. I mean, he's got a local. He's got a local, not even an offshore. So I believe him. Then we're going into the next. We've got Easton talking Bills. Abel talking Valdez list 3 game against the A's. He didn't strike out much. I get it, bro. But they added one on today, and for some reason, he either gets 7 or he doesn't. And I'm cool with not messing with either. Yeah, my boy Emerson. We like Pinocha, dog, but not on a man, bro. We don't like that, man. That's like, come on, man. I know it's 2023. I know people get down like that. And I mean, Tone Loc tried to tell us about it when he made that song, the Funky Cole Medina. Well, and Shayna was a man. All right, guys. Maybe you ain't that old, but I am. So go do yourself a favor. Listen to yourself some Funky Cole Medina after this. Get yourself a little laugh. And don't Funky Cole Medina. Shout out to the chat. Smash the like if you haven't. This show is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you haven't, go over there and use that promo code PUBSPORTS, and you're going to get a match deposit of $100, minimum of $25 on your first deposit by using the best promo code on God's green earth. I'm Sharpie's Bets. Today's guest was LJ from H-Town. This show is produced by Big Show Picks and brought to you by the letters BBW. Until next time, let's just stay hot, fellas.
Keep firing, assholes!